Hey everybody, Joe Casabona here with another video. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to ask you right up front to like and subscribe. I've seen people do that. And so we'll see if it works out for me. I hope you like this video. I think you will. I'm really excited about it. And so let me set the stage a little bit before we get into this microphone test that you know I'm doing because you read the title of this video. I got an email from Amazon associates showing me some products they think my audience would like based on purchase patterns. And one of them, or two of them, were cheap podcasting microphones. So I thought, well, hot dog, I'm going to do a microphone shootout video. And then Matt Medeiros tweeted this. Stop using laptop microphone for podcast interviews. Bad word. I'm going to have to censor that. And I said tune in to the YouTube channel next week to see if spending $30 will make you sound dramatically better. So that is the promise I'm going to deliver. Sounds like Matt was also setting up his own YouTube video because he also did a microphone shootout. So he compares 7 microphones. They are almost all completely different from the microphones I'm going to try out. He tries a lot of headphones out and even the iPhone microphone. So I would recommend you check out that video, which I will link in the description. It'll be in the cards. It's a YouTube video, right? So I should do the cards. But let me set the stage for this video. I am going to test 4 microphones, none of which is the microphone I'm speaking into right now. That is my boom arm or my shotgun microphone. So that is excluded from the test because I didn't want you to get accustomed to, say, the Shure SM7B. And I said 4, but I'm actually going to have 5 here because one is going to be the built-in iMac microphone. That will be the first one I try just to set the stage. This was the root of Matt's tweet, right? Is that people are just using the built-in microphone. And then I'm going to test 2 USB microphones. This Travor microphone, this is $20. It's a USB microphone. The ATR2100, which is the one I recommend the most, also USB microphone. It has XLR, but this is a USB microphone that I'm using it for today. Then I'm using the Audio-Technica M8000. This is an XLR microphone. And the Shure SM7B, which is my daily podcast microphone. The 2 XLR microphones are going into my Rodecaster Pro. They are both set at a level of 36. And processing is turned off on both of them. So I wanted this to be as even a test as possible. Turning away from the microphone's a bad idea here. I wanted this to be as even a test as possible. The one main difference between the 2 XLR microphones here is that I have phantom power on for the Shure SM7B, and I don't have phantom power on for the M8000. And that's because I don't need the phantom power. The Shure SM7B is a hog. So it needs more power. The M8000, this is the $30 XLR microphone. You don't need that kind of power for. So let me bring this up. I feel like Sinatra a little bit. I don't sing or look like Sinatra, but we're both Italian. So let's get started with this test. So first, let me move this out of the way to create the proper visuals. I am first going to do the iMac Pro microphone. And I'm just going to do the intro to my podcast. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill, how are you today? So we're going to go in price order here. So the built-in microphone obviously comes free with your computer. This is the Travor microphone. It is $20. It's a USB microphone. Let's see how that sounds. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill, how are you today? So I don't want to provide any commentary on the microphones right now, but I did a test before recording, and I do have the GarageBand file available. If you sign up for the mailing list, I'll send that out. But that was the $20 USB microphone. This is the Audio Technica USB microphone. I said I was going to go in price order here, but this is around $100. You can get it for like $70 to $100. But I wanted to do the USB microphones back to back so you could see the difference in quality there before going over to the board. So the Travor microphone, USB microphone, was like $20. This is between $70 and $100. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill, how are you today? All right, and I should also say that I'm not using any pop filters on any of these except for the Shure SM7B. Okay, now it's time for the Audio Technica M8000. This is a $30 XLR microphone. The caveat with an XLR microphone is that you need, I'm not talking into that yet, is that you need an interface, which you can get fairly affordably. I generally recommend the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, but I will link to a couple in the description for this video below. These will be affiliate links, quick and full disclosure. If you have your own microphone that you love to use, let me know in the comments below what microphone you like to use. If it's cheap or super expensive, you don't have to say the price, but let me know what you like in the comments. Okay, so this is the Audio Technica M8000. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill, how are you today? All right. That was the Audio Technica M8000 into the Rodecaster Pro with no processing at a level of 36, no phantom power. This is going to be the Shure SM7B. I turned processing off for this test. So this is going to sound a little different than my podcast usually sounds. But again, I wanted this to be a fair fight. So this is at level 36. No processing. The only difference is the phantom power, which usually you would have like a cloud lifter for or something like that. But in any case, let's do that test now. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill, how are you today? Okay, and that is all of them. What I will probably do is release an audio track as well that just has all of these lined up so you can hear them back to back to back. This is the built-in microphone for the iMac Pro. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill has been doing lots of great work during this global pandemic. Bill, how are you today? This is the Travor $20 USB microphone. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He has been doing lots of great work during the global pandemic. Bill, how are you? This is the Audio Technica 2100. I usually recommend this one. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill has been doing a ton of work for the global pandemic. Bill, how are you today? This is the $30 Audio Technica M8000. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill has been doing a ton of work for the global pandemic. Bill, how are you today? This is the Shure SM7B, my main microphone for $500. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill has been doing a ton of work for the global pandemic. Bill, how are you today? Hey everybody, so that was the back-to-back-to-back test. And this is Editor Joe popping in here real quick because during the actual video, my analysis was a little bit off. I said that the Travor microphone didn't sound much better than the built-in microphone. But in editing, it's actually dramatically better, I think. So if I had to make a recommendation for you, definitely don't use the built-in microphone. For $20, you can get that Travor microphone and you will sound better. A lot better than the built-in microphone. And you can add some processing. Remember, I didn't put any of my normal processing on the audio. So there are things that you can do to reduce echo and add a little bit more like meatier sound to your voice, right? Because the Travor does sound a little tinny. If I had to make a recommendation, I think the ATR2100 or the 2100X, which is out now, is still the best one that you could get for your money. Because while the Audio-Technica M8000 is a cheaper microphone that sounded shockingly good for a $30 XLR microphone, you still need to get an interface. And the Focusrite Scarlett Solo runs for about $100. So you're looking at $130. You do have a little bit more flexibility there, but if we're looking strictly at cost, I think you will get a great value for the ATR 2100. So that's it. All right, I'm going to send it back to Video Joe now. That's the test. Let me know what you think down below. Did I convince you to buy any of these microphones? Is there another one you recommend? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel for more great content.